Randy sits down. We're good to go?
Plug yourself
Okay.
back in, Randy.
All right, so we had a, okay, we just had a, yeah, excuse me, folks. Thank you. So we just had a little issue. We were streaming, I guess, on the wrong page, but we were streaming. So everything, if somebody wants, okay, good. All right, so we'll continue with our delegations. Second delegation is
Rebecca Pike.
Rebecca Pike. Welcome, Rebecca. Thanks for your presentation to committee, and I'm glad to see you here. So you have 10 minutes, and floor is yours.
Okay. I'm not going to take all the 10 minutes. I'll give the spare time to Mr. Saunders
Appreciate
to get
that.
back up here. I just wanted to bring forth a couple of things that we're doing with the community through the Happy Valley Goose Bay Community Cleanup Group. So we were the group that got together there a couple weekends ago and did a community-wide cleanup, gave away a bunch of prizes, a lot of money, and really got the town looking great. And we are hoping that we can bring all that community spirit back together and keep it going for the rest of the summer. So what we're doing on our Facebook page, we've got a form that you can go in and fill out and sign up to be a street sweeper or a trailblazer. So you pick, it could be one street, could be half a street, multiple streets, and then you're responsible just to keep up on it over the summer. Have a look and pick up stuff as you go on your daily walks or what have you. And then we'll do bi-weekly, monthly. We haven't quite figured out all the details, but we do have more prizes that we're going to give away and some cute little things for the kids that get involved as well. So I wanted to bring that forward. And the other thing that we're looking for, if anyone has anything available, the town has so graciously allowed us to put out some garbage cans in some high traffic areas if we can collect them. So what we're hoping to do is get some used barrels that are clean and in good condition donated to the committee so that we can have a couple of community groups paint them up and make them look nice and presentable, and then we'll put them out in some of the high traffic areas to keep down on some of the litter, because a lot of the feedback that we got was that there's just nowhere to throw it. So that's what we're hoping to do. Other than that, you can check out our Facebook page, HVGB Community Cleanup 2023, and the form is on there, and we would hope that people sign up, especially those that got out and did the cleanup there a couple weekends ago. You can keep up that community spirit and keep it going, especially if you spend time outside. So that's all that I have, and if you'll let me, I'll give my time to Mr. Saunders.
Sure, no problem. Rebecca, I just want to say, like from a community perspective, and I'm sure it will come up in councillors' forum, some people don't stay around till the end, or you know, whatever, from a gallery perspective. But from a council perspective, to you and your group that organized the community cleanup process, absolutely fantastic. It's been a long time since we've seen that kind of positivity in town. And look, from myself, from council, we just want to send a huge thank you, and for continuing.
Thank you.
Right.
We're trying to take back a little bit of the town that we may have lost over some of the issues that have been going on. And in doing so, I forgot about this, but there's a community trail ride this weekend on Saturday starting at 1 o'clock for people who use ATVs, side-by-sides, dirt bikes, what have you, just to get back out in the trails. There's, I believe, 30-kilometer trek all the way up, and then there's a barbecue at the end up at the snowmobile club. So we cleaned up all the trails and things, and now we want to use them. So that's also happening. But thank you, I appreciate it.
Absolutely, and thanks for coming and showing and discussing with the issue. And yeah, we look forward to a good turnout. So thanks again. Yep.
Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Saunders, you're more than welcome to come back to the microphone. And Rebecca's graciously giving you some additional time. So there we go, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, there, Council, for giving me extra few minutes. Before we proceed, I'd just like to make sure that this stream has been recorded and documented as live stream.
It has been.
Okay, great.
It may be split on, we can share it to the other page maybe? Yeah, so.
All right, so as I speak here as a delegate and a resident of Happy Valley Goose Bay, I think I speak on behalf of residents. I don't know, and I don't mean to speak on behalf of the Innu or Inuit. We want, what do we want? Okay, if you're going to put these homeless hub down here, by all means put it down here. You're going to put a addiction center here, by all means. But not at the expense of the residents of Happy Valley Goose Bay. And they say, well, you're discriminating. No, we're not discriminating. Who's discriminating? It's the province that is taking these people from their communities and relocating them. Again, I say they're relocating them. Anyone knows any history of Tall, of Newfoundland and Labrador, especially the Aboriginal people, they would know. Now, I know it's a hard decision. I feel sorry for this council, like I said earlier. How you're going to deal with this? We're all butting heads. We're falling on deaf ears from the Action Committee. We don't know nothing. When was the last time that this residents of Happy Valley Goose Bay had any info regarding the Action Committee? Nothing. I spoke to Perry Trimper in March. He talked about consultation. He said they had a session last year down at the Friendship Center for one day, for 2 hours a day, or for 4 hours. And that is a consultation with the residents of Happy Valley Goose Bay regarding the homelessness. Hello? Now we had the residents of Happy Valley Goose Bay are getting phone calls. We don't know where they're from. Can't get no info. I know it's partially funded by the federal government. So is it through the federal government, through the Liberal government? Who's doing all this? Was the town council informed? I don't know. And I'm only just throwing this out here. If they're going to put out to the general public of Happy Valley Goose Bay, they got the right to phone anyone. But if they should have the courtesy of let you know what they're doing if it's infecting the residents of Happy Valley Goose Bay. But only thing I got to say right now, I thank you again. And I think that the federal government and the province, especially the province, you're discriminating because you're taking the Aboriginal people away from their homes and putting them down to Goose Bay, relocating them, and feeding their habit. There's drugs here, there's alcohol here, because they're coming to a bigger center that they can get it. By all means, if you got to put a treatment center in Sheshashi, Nashville, Hotel, Nain, I don't care where it's to, even if it's Goose Bay, you got to put it here. But not at the expense of the residents of Happy Valley Goose Bay that can't walk down this street here. That's all I got to say, and I thank you again kindly. And I speak from the bottom of my heart, and I speak from my family side of the Saunderses. My grandfather was one of the first families here. I speak on behalf of them too. They're dead and gone. Because I can guarantee you they didn't grow up like that. That's all I have to say. And again, I want to thank the council for listening to me. And I think that I speak on behalf of a lot of residents of Happy Valley Goose Bay who are Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal. Anyway, thank you. That's all I have to say.
Mr. Saunders, I appreciate your very direct, meaningful words. It's I think one of the first times that we've heard from a resident in that nature. So we appreciate and thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
And I will say that the town council had nothing to do with that phone survey. We knew nothing about it. I've asked questions, but I haven't got responses back. We had nothing to do with it. We were surprised, as many of the residents who
it's
received
probably
the
the Action Committee, that inactive committee or whatever they're called.
I did get the survey. I did ask the young lady who was giving me the survey.
Yeah.
I took the survey, and 3/4 of the way through, I said, I happen to be the mayor, and I asked her a few questions, and what she told me was that she only gets a sheet.
Yes.
She doesn't know who's for, who, whatever it's doing. It's only a sheet, and that's all they get.
All right. Thank you again. I appreciate the council.
You're more than welcome.
All right,
Thank you.
take care.
Thanks, Ernest.
No more delegations? That's the two? All right. Okay, so we'll move into the agenda, and everybody's more than welcome to stay. Some people will, if you want to, you're more than welcome to leave as well. All right, so the agenda, we'll adopt the previous minutes. Minutes from the 35th meeting on April the 26th. So I will entertain that motion to accept those minutes. Moved by the Deputy Mayor Wallace, seconded by Councillor Rumbold. Discussion? Yes, sir. Councillor Brumfield.
I have a problem with this one, more than this one, but I have a
problem how this whole situation comes about. I was the one who introduced this motion, and unfortunately, I think that we're making motions without any backup. We know absolutely nothing about this. I spoke to the guy, like, this was an application, there had been an application, but someone to bring it forward to have the modify their,
Is that the 35th meeting?
yeah? Is that-
Adoption of the minutes?
Maybe I'm looking at the minutes, and it was,
So what's 35th?
yeah, okay.
Oh, okay, no, it is 36.
36?
Next one.
Okay.
Next one.
So we'll do the next one?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll hold that discussion item then. Any further discussion on the minutes for the 35th meeting? Okay, none being heard, I will ask for all those in favor to indicate with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Contrary-minded? Okay, we've accepted the 35th meeting minutes. Tongue-tied. Okay, so we'll move next to the 36 minutes, the meeting that happened on May the 3rd, 2023. I'll ask for a mover to accept the minutes as presented.
I'll move to accept the minutes.
Okay, moved by Councillor Compton Hobbs, seconded by
I'll second it.
Councillor Pomeroy. Okay, discussion. Councillor Rumfield, floor is yours.
Yeah, sorry, this is what I was
Yep.
talking about. This is the one we amended the development regulations to permit a flexible housing complex. We have actually no idea who the person was who made this application, because someone had to make the application because it's come from someone. And we have absolutely nothing there to base it on. That's my comment on it.
Okay, any other discussion?
Do,
Go
we
ahead.
do know who the application is, don't we?
So my understanding, this wasn't, this request came as a result of the rapid housing initiative that we are doing with Newfoundland Labrador Housing. And this motion wasn't to approve that. What it was to allow, change our development regulations to allow that plex housing, which is house over house, be permitted in that zone.
But who bring forward this application? It had to come forward from someone.
Well, I think it come from staff, right? If I'm not, the recommendation that council do it. So in order then, what would happen is that Newfoundland
No,
Labrador
we
Housing.
really need
Is
backup.
it-
We're
Yeah.
putting a motion here, which really is considerable. I think we need some kind of backup to know what we're doing.
Is it
I think that-
NLHC, Mayor, that brought it to staff for the discretionary land use?
Well, I think what happened was in the discussion, and I'll put the microphone to the Director of Engineering. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, that's correct, Mayor. It was in response to the rapid housing initiative. and
But
there
who
was-
bring the
Okay,
application
so
forward?
can we give the floor to him to explain?
Well, it was part of the, in order for the rapid housing initiative to go ahead, there was a possible purchase to be made by Newfoundland Labrador Housing contingent upon those particular lots being zoned in the right, or being able to be accommodate plex housing in that particular zone.
But who bring the application forward? Was Newfoundland Labrador Housing or the other proponent?
Well, it was staff who actually brought it to the.
No, but someone outside the staff had to come forward to request
So
this.
if you're asking the question, allow him the time to answer, please.
Well, Newfoundland Labrador Housing were the people who initiated that particular concern. The fact that they did not want to purchase those particular lots if they couldn't construct plex housing on the lots. So that zoning had to be changed to allow
Before
plex
they would
housing.
buy it.
Before they would buy it,
Yes.
they had to.
So
And
that-
just to step back though, there is a construction on Mesher or Michelin Wonder Streets of plex housing.
Yeah, but I
so
really
that-
want to know who bring this application forward. If it wasn't for Newfoundland Labrador Housing, it had to come forward from a resident in this town or someone in this town. If it wasn't Newfoundland Labrador Housing bring this application forward, someone had to.
Well, it was brought to staff's attention that all the housing in the area was plex housing, and that it was an anomaly that these particular lots could not, as the development regulations read, it was not eligible for plex housing, yet all the surrounding lots were plex housing. So it only made sense to include, to have that, and it was discretionary to have that as an allowed type of
Yeah,
development on those
but
particular
still, our
lots.
procedure is when these come forward, we need an application from someone. And we'll see that when we come to this regular monthly meeting, and I'll explain it then.
Yeah, you don't necessarily need an application from someone to change the zoning. If staff recommends, if there's an anomaly, if there's something that's, that needs to be corrected, and if it's recognized by staff that that's something that can be recommended to council to make a change, that was brought forward. In this particular case, it happened to be tied in with the Rapid Housing Initiative, and it was recognized that those particular lots should be allowed as a permitted use in that particular zone.
So, and there are certain, Councillor Palmer.
Yeah, I guess what Councillor Broomfield is asking, was there a discretionary use application?
Yes, exactly.
That's what he's asking. 'Cause
No, there wasn't, and if my understanding is correct, does this come forward from staff perspective? Then what happens is it moved it from a Plex housing put into the accepted use, which then there wasn't an application. There didn't need to be an application because it had to be a permitted use to put Plex housing there. Plex housing wasn't there.
Yeah,
You
so
could build an apartment building with a separate hallway, or you could build other types of housing, but Plex housing, which is house over house, wasn't allowed.
But just to be clear, there was no zoning change. Like I
No,
know-
just a development
No.
regulation
I-
change.
It came up a couple of times that there was some changing in zoning, but
Yeah,
it
no.
was a discretionary use application.
It was discretionary in the zone for
Yeah.
Plex housing.
Right.
But yet, all the housing in the area is already Plex housing. There are 4 Plexes and so on there. So all this was to make it more, to make everything fit,
But all
because
I'm asking is who bring the application forward, someone had to.
So for
It
the
was
third
the
or fourth
staff.
time, it was a staff that brought this forward to
it
council.
was a staff recommendation that this be changed.
Yeah.
And subsequent to this being changed, Newfoundland Labrador Housing then proceeded to buy those lots so they could put out that Rapid Housing Initiative, proceed with the Rapid Housing Initiative project.
Okay, Deputy Mayor?
For the CPD committee, shouldn't it be a recommendation that come through the CPD committee to have this zone change?
Yes.
But that was the reason for the special meeting.
Okay, so
Right.
they had a special meeting on it.
We had the special meeting,
Remember, I don't know if you were there, but it surely came from the CBD committee through regular channels.
but the time, from a time perspective, there wasn't the time, and there was a briefing note done on it.
Yeah,
Yes.
just a
Councillor Palmer?
Just a point of order, Your Worship. I mean, this issue's been dealt with,
Absolutely.
voted on, right? It's time to
Yep.
move on. And we can have that discussion at committee level.
Absolutely, yep, I agree.
But here, I mean, it was a
Yeah.
motion of
The
council at
the
last
discussion is on the minutes,
Right.
right, in terms of accepting the minutes.
meeting. So we can have a discussion at
Yep.
committee level
Okay,
at some
yeah,
point.
I'll accept that point of order, you're correct. Any other further discussion on the minutes, the 36th meeting? Okay, all those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Okay, we've adopted the minutes. Correspondence, and I'm at a loss here tonight because I should be able to just zip down to correspondence, but if my understanding is, when I went through my package, there was none outgoing, and incoming, there was our regular municipal assessment emails, or notices that we get, just detailing, I think one was the board, and another one was detailing some of the activities. Did you have something else?
One was regarding the assessment roll for the 2024
Yep.
tax year.
Yep.
Which is an annual correspondence from them that gives a list of all the communities in the province and their rates and their expected changes.
And I think there was some, they've now procured, I guess, Eagle View for working to look at, I guess, from the sky, from satellite-wise, for doing some property assessing work. And that's throughout their agency, so. All right, no other correspondence, correct? Okay, so we'll go into the committees, and I'll turn the floor to the chair of the Community Planning and Development Committee, Councillor Brumfield.
Okay, thank you, Your Worship. Community Planning and Development Committee met on Monday, May the 15th, 2023 at 4:30 in the Town Hall boardroom. Present was myself in the chair, Councillors Jackie Compton-Hobbs and Bert Pomeroy. Staff was CEO Nadine McCauley, Engineer Randy Dillon, Environmental Technologist Mark Urquhart, GIS Mark Macrodus, and Admin Assistant Haley Bessie. Meeting was called to order at 4:35. We reviewed the previous minutes and action items, no errors or omissions. Attached for this month was the monthly permit report for council's review. And then we had new Crown Land applications. And the first one was Crown Land application 151641 from Labrador Winter Trails. The briefing note was attached. The area was zoned commercial and advertised. It was advertised and no objections were received. They intended to amend an existing snowmobile trail by Carolyn Drive, which is really behind Bargain Shop. And CPD committee has no objection to this Crown Land application, subject to it meeting the town development regulations. The next one was a new Crown Land application again from Amanda Moore, is number 161122 with 73 Park Drive. A briefing note was attached, and really it's an extension of land to her granted land they already have at 73 Park. It's right down the corner of Lake Crescent and Park Drive. Again, the CPD committee has no objection to this one, subject to meeting the town's development regulations. The final one, we had a Crown Land application number 161149 from Gary Callahan. The briefing note was attached and it's for land on Kelland Drive. CPD committee deferred this item, waiting for the groundwater flooding study to be released. Next one was a discretionary land use application, which is Jeremy Penny for home-based business on 10 Bird Street, which is Penny's Property Solutions, Inc. A briefing note was attached. Home-based business is a permitted discretionary use, and the Office Property Management Company zoned area zone RVD, residents with varied density, and the home-based business is a permitted discretionary use. It was advertised for public input and none was received. Therefore, the CPD committee recommends approving this with the conditions attached, which require life safety, service and town's regulations. Next item is a previously deferred discretionary land use application for Francis Valentino for home-based business at 19 Hope Street, which is going to be home-based food catering and delivery. The area is zoned RVD, and an ad is advertised on the town website with no comments or response. According to the proponent, it will be a single order catering service with no on-site sales. CPD committee discussed this being a food business, ensure approval from government departments are met, which is fire, life safety, service and town regulations. Next one is a dealing with civic numbering on Mayford Street. There's an L-shaped apartment on the corner of Mayford Street and Mackenzie Drive, and it consists of 12 units. Currently, this is number 3 Mackenzie Drive, and all the 12 units don't have no numbering or nothing on them. So the committee reviewed the briefing note, and the CPD committee agreed that this unit should be listed as 3A, 3B, 3C, right up to the 12 units there. Last item was a information item only, which is the NCC classification, which was an information item, and they're still gathering information about an area designated as environmental protection mixed unit designation for the Goose River Bog and the Birch Island Creek, and there is a briefing note attached and the whole thing attached. So right now it's just information only. And that was it for the CPD committee meeting, and there are recommendations attached. The meeting adjourned at 5:55 p.m. with the next meeting scheduled for Monday, June 19th at 4:30 p.m. And thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Broomfield. In the application number 161122 for the extension of property, did you say Park and Blake?
No, Park, on the corner of Park and Lake Crescent.
Lake, okay, I thought you said Blake. Okay, I'm sorry. Yep, okay. All right. All right, so it has been moved by Councillor Broomfield and the CPD committee that we accept the report as presented, seconded by Councillor Winters. Any discussion?
Just a point of clarification, Your Worship. Councillor Broomfield had indicated that the property on 3 Megan did not contain any numbering or lettering. I believe they're all numbered.
They
are. Yeah, they
So
are.
you'd have 3 Megan, number 1, number 2, I think there's 12 together,
Oh,
all
okay.
together. And it was confusing because if a
Whether it's, yeah,
delivery driver was to happen to show up
Yeah.
at 6 Megan, they're going to 3 Megan instead of 6 Megan. So
oh, okay.
just to be clear that.
Yeah,
'cause you
so
would-
we're going with the lettering number 3A, B, C, right down to the 12 units,
Correct.
correct? Yeah.
Okay, good. All right,
Question, Mayor.
yep, discussion.
Just wondering, we discussed in the CPD meeting about the groundwater report that was coming out in June, and, Mr. Dillon said he was gonna follow up and see if it was still on time for June. I don't know if we can get an update from him.
Yep, sure.
Yeah, as far as I know, the last I heard, Councillor, was that it is still, will still be presented in June.
So you haven't spoken to him since the meeting, I assume, right?
No, I've been out of town for a few days and I'm still waiting to hear back. I did email, but I'm still waiting on a reply. I haven't got it yet.
Hey, any other discussion on that committee?
What's that?
Any other discussion on your committee? Okay, all those in favor indicate with aye. Aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Okay, we passed that. Recommendations?
Yes, sir, I
Okay.
have
Yep.
5 recommendations in total. Okay, the first recommendation is the one from the Labrador Winter Trails, which is number 151641 application. The CBD committee recommends that council have no objection to the Crown Land applications 151641 on the condition that future development complies with the town's development regulations.
Okay, it's moved by Councillor Broomfield into the CPD committee that we have no objection to Crown Lands application 151641.
Sorry,
Seconded by Councillor Compton Hobbs.
I'm ahead of myself.
Any discussion? Okay, none being heard. All those in favor indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Okay, we've accepted that, we've heard that recommendation. Next one, sir?
Next one is Crown Land application 161122 by Damien and Amanda Moore, which is 73 Park Drive. The CBD committee recommends that council have no objection to the Crown Land application 161122 on the condition that future development complies with the town's development regulations.
Okay, moved by Councillor Broomfield and the CPD committee that we have no objection to Crown Lands application 161122. Seconded by
I'll second.
Councillor Compton Hobbs. Discussion? Okay, all those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Passed. Next recommendation. Just a point of order on this one. We're going to, I thought we had this discussion in terms of deferring
Don't need
motions.
recommendation
We
for-
don't need a recommendation if
No.
we deferred it, because my only fear is that if if we're deferring something and it was defeated, what happens to the motion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought we had the
To
discussion that
read
we
this-
I'm looking at the CAO, does that,
Yeah.
that's okay?
Yeah, it was deferred at committee.
At committee, okay, shouldn't have been as a recommendation,
Yeah,
okay,
okay.
understand.
Probably,
My apologies.
Okay, so
Okay.
we're ending up with 4
Yeah, before.
four
All right,
recommendations.
sorry,
as
Councillor
per
Compton Hobbs?
earlier discussion, make sure it's documented so it doesn't happen again. Because we did discuss.
Yeah, no, we had
this
this, last time we had, and it was from the same committee, because, like I say, CPD brings those forward, and if it's deferred, then, yeah, it should stay deferred. We don't need to recommend that and vote on something being deferred.
Fine.
And if it gets denied, then what happens, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the next one, sir.
No,
Just to
Council-
add-
Sorry, just one moment,
Yeah,
Councillor
no,
Palmer?
I mean, during his committee report, he had made reference to that it was being deferred anyway.
Yes.
So I think that would be
Yeah.
suffice.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's why I said I was surprised to see it as a recommendation based on our last council meeting. All right, next one, sir. Floor is
Okay,
yours.
So the next one is discretionary use application for 10 Bird Street, which is the home-based business. The CBD committee recommends that council support and approve Jamie Penny's home-based business application at 10 Bird Street for Penny's Property Solutions, Inc., which will operate a home office for a property maintenance company, subject to compliance with all town development regulations and conditions.
Okay, it's moved by Councillor Broomfield and the CPD committee that we recommend support and approve the business, home-based business by Jamie Penny at 10 Bird Street. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Wallace. Discussion? Okay, none being heard. All those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Motion's passed. Next one, sir?
Okay, just before I finish off my final one, I'd like to remind everyone, these are all applications that come to the town that people apply for, which is what I was getting at in my previous one, right? At the 36-1 meeting.
Yep, okay.
So the last item is a discretionary use application again for a home-based business at 19 Hope Street. The CBD committee recommends that council support and approve Francis Valentino's home-based business application at 19 Hope Street for Valentino's, which will operate a catering and delivery service subject to compliance with all town regulations and conditions.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Broomfield and CPD Committee that we support and approve the home-based business at 19 Hope Street. Seconded by?
I'll second it.
Councillor Pomeroy. Discussion. Okay, I'm going to have some discussion here. I think we're doing things backwards in terms of food licensing for home-based businesses. What's going to happen here is this: we're going to give approval tonight, and our follow-up. Right now there is no mechanism to follow up to ensure that what actually happens. Is there a health inspection? Is there a commercial kitchen, etc.? It doesn't matter if it's a 1-day catering, 10-day catering, open and a takeout, etc. I just think that what we should be doing for home-based food establishments or food home-based businesses, we should be doing it the other way. They should come to us with their Department of Health, which ensures that there's a commercial kitchen and someone has inspected, and also the fire inspection that's required for home-based business. I think those two, at least those two, should come previous, before, and when we get their application. So council knows that the Department of Health has agreed to this particular establishment, and that there's the necessary things in there, and that a fire inspection has been done. Because in previous conversations I've had, and I wonder why in home-based businesses there was a fire inspection, and the example was given, from a cooking perspective, you don't know if someone's in their basement cooking in a hot pot or a hot plate or something. But in this kind of thing, there's going to be no follow-up. So, we've seen it happen. There's been several instances of people that have come to council in the past, businesses that have, established, commercially licensed, health-wise issues, and, they are there working and playing by the rules. Like I say, my fear is that the follow-up won't be done, and it doesn't matter to me as long as that Department of Health inspection happens, and that won't happen if there's no commercial kitchen. So I just think we're doing things backwards, so I won't be supporting this one. Any other further discussion? Councillor Broomfield?
My only add-on comment to that is, personally, I think we should revisit this home-based business and people cooking at home. Because basically at home, you cook for your meals, breakfast, dinner, and supper. But if you're operating a home-based cooking business or baking, cooking when they're at home, that oven's going to be on the go probably a good part of the day if you're a busy person. And that increases your risk for fire. That's just my comment on it.
And there is a differentiation between when you get into certain products that you're cooking or contain cooking, the rules change. Yeah. So someone who can bake bread, for instance, at home, there's one licensing through, or I guess inspection through the health, and it requires certain things. Once you get into the necessity of temperatures, whether it's cooling or cooking, then you need that commercial kitchen from that perspective, that's what you need. So, if this is done, we have some establishments that are home-based or started as home-based that did go out and invest in commercial kitchens and that kinds of stuff, then that's fine. Yeah. But like I say, right now, we don't seem to have the mechanism to follow up. So we're going to approve this tonight, but there doesn't seem to be a follow-up down the road to ensure that the person has 30 days to come back with their Department of Health and this and that. So I just think that what we should do is reverse that process and have them come first. Councillor Palmer.
Yes, to further add to that, Mayor, and what Councillor Broomfield had said, I fully agree that we need to revisit that policy on home-based businesses, and or develop a policy with respect to home-based businesses, and have a serious look at food preparation at people's homes. So, At this point, we haven't done that. There's no policy in place to deal with it as such. And in this case, the way I will support the motion because there's nothing in place to prevent us from doing this. If you took food out of the equation and they were knitting socks or doing something else, we wouldn't be having this discussion. So it comes down to food. And we can't regulate that. That's not up to us to do that. That's up to Service NL. So until we change the policy or develop a policy that has that can be enabling, I will be supporting this recommendation.
The only concern that I have there is that there is no follow-up. So even in our permitting process, if there was something that said you will now have 30 days, you've been conditionally approved based on you presenting back to the town to put the onus on the owner to come back and say, within 30 days, you have to bring us your Department of Health or whatever kind of deal, then I would have less of an issue that way for sure. But the thing is that, like I say, we're going to approve this, and we're never going to follow up to see whether or not he is abiding by the conditions that will be in the permit.
And that's something that we need to develop a policy on, so that, whether we have a compliance officer at some point or whoever follows up, a policy should be able to identify that. So,
Councillor Rumble.
Yes, Mayor, I think I'm kind of the same thought as Councillor Pomeroy right now, because we encourage people to come forward and to follow the proper channels and to submit their applications. In this case, we have somebody who has done that, and up until this conversation that you've led, we don't, and we haven't, and I think it's great dialogue, and we definitely need to revisit it, and for you to bring that forward and say, there's some concerns over food handling and home kitchens versus commercial kitchens. I just feel like that would definitely be a takeaway for after tonight to say, okay, yeah, let's change it, let's make some adjustments. But the fact that that wasn't in place, and this citizen was by all means a good citizen and did what he should have done instead of, we know that there's a lot of home-based businesses out there. We all see it. They're advertising through social media, and they're doing things, and they're not following proper procedure. So when somebody submits a business registration form, follows the proper procedure, and it was our ambiguity as far as not actually, having that clear regulation in place. I'm like Councillor Pomeroy, I'll support the motion this evening, but I also support us making changes on a go forward.
But the rule is there, that he must or she must have this, this, and this. So my thing is, who's going to follow up to make sure that this, because when someone gets sick potentially or this or that, that's the concern.
And I hear you.
That
and
will come right back to us.
I certainly
That
hope
will-
that once he signed that application that says, I will do this,
Yeah.
that he does it.
Right, so that, and all I'm saying is that we shouldn't approve that until that happens. All right, Councillor,
Is there any way, any reason why he can't reapply again? Once he gets all this done, all these
oh,
things
absolutely.
in place? All right, thanks.
I just wanted to add,
Councillor Compton House?
Mayor, I've heard that many, many, many times. Let's look at the home-based policy, and it's never been taken up on. So if we're gonna talk about it, we need action. So someone needs to take the lead on looking at that policy, which falls under the Finance Committee, and seeing how we can improve it. It's no good for us to say that we need to look at it if we're not gonna do it, so someone needs to take the initiative to do it.
Any other discussion? CAO?
Just to Councillor Compton Hobbs' point, there is actually a staff committee formed between engineering and finance to discuss the home-based business, the process, registration, all the requirements. That's been in place for, I'd say, close to a year, shortly after Kelsey came on or shortly before. And that is an ongoing discussion. There's a lot to it. There's a lot more to it than meets the eye. It's not something can be done in
Absolutely.
a short time.
And, maybe with, if we move towards new municipal enforcement officer, then maybe that's something that could land on that
So-
person's plate.
So there is a committee looking at
There
these?
is, yeah. And our previous MEO was a part of that committee. So
Yeah.
Oh,
when a new one comes on, they'll be a part
There
of
you
that as well.
I'm glad I asked a question then, so
Indeed,
now I found out through communication here that there is a committee that I wasn't aware of.
but it's a staff committee too, so. All right, any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the discretionary use at 19 Hope Street indicate with aye. Contrary-minded? Okay, motion's passed. All right, that's it for you, sir? You're good? Okay. All right, let's move into community services and recreation.
Wonderful,
Deputy Mayor.
thank you, Mayor. Community Services and Recreation Committee met on Thursday, May 19th. Present was myself as chair, Councillor Rumbold, Councillor Pomeroy, CAO Nadine McCauley, Director CSR Travis Ford, CDR Manager Greg Osmond, and Admin Assistant Haley Bessie. Meeting was called to order at 4:39 p.m. Review of previous minutes and action items revealed no errors or omissions. There was discussion on the McLean Street Playground and equipment installation. The council supports the project and discussed with the CSR director to request to install the equipment. CSR director is ensuring staff are trained and working towards the install soon. Chair requested CSR staff roll the MMC soccer field in the lead up to the soccer season of the outdoor field. Currently the field is in disrepair and requires flattening. Directors arranging for this to happen. The CSR director had confirmed implementation of a new booking system being installed with the Community Recreation Department. This website is to start June 1st and will be ready for summer recreation registration. In addition to the booking site is an app which will follow. There was discussion around the arena sound system and will be investigated to ensure all users are receiving good quality sound systems when they rent the building, of course, being there as a participant or a spectator. CSR director will investigate the system. There was also discussion over the arena deficiencies and plans to assess the order of repairs and their priorities in which would needed to be commenced. If I may, the town engineer, Mr. Dillon, can we follow up? Do you have any follow-up or can provide any updates on where we can start or what can commence on that?
Yes, Councillor, most of the deficiencies have been completed. I know I had another meeting with the engineer from Mass Development there a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, great.
And they had, I think the previous electrician had some health issues and couldn't finish the job. Actually, he passed away, so they had to employ a separate electrician who wasn't familiar with the work. But he assured me that last week he was there on site, and there are some issues there that, minor issues that are being finalized.
Okay, great. Thank you. The management report was reviewed and attached in the package. Events over the past weeks have included the second annual Goose Cup, Hockey NL Provincial Championships, the Guns N' Hoses Charity Game, Snowflake Ice Show, Arena Ice to Turf Transition, and the Junior Lab Cup just this past weekend. We have transitioned from ice to turf at the arena with the Lake Melville Soccer Club program in full swing. And we would like to acknowledge and thank the CSR department for their tireless effort and smooth transition from the ice to these surfaces. Next meeting scheduled for June 15th at 4:30 p.m. Meeting was adjourned at 6:06 p.m. Please accept this May 2023 CSR committee report is being read.
Okay, it's been moved by Deputy Mayor Wallace that we, the Community Services and Recreation Committee, that we accept the report as presented. Seconded by Councillor Pomeroy. Discussion.
I got a couple questions, Mayor.
Councillor Compton House.
I don't know, it was a little brief discussion with the CSR director around flowers. I don't know if it was discussed in your meeting, but this year Birdhouse is not, they don't have flowers, so this was a very positive feedback.
It's not in this committee report, correct?
No.
Okay,
We
so
never discussed it. We did discuss it with the director, but I don't know if you
Okay.
discussed it.
so we're just
So we
discussing
never
it. So
talked
can you
about
just?
flowers 'cause it wasn't
Oh yeah,
discussed
no,
in
no.
the
But can you just hold that for side and we'll do the report. We'll
Just-
do because we're just doing a report now. Then after her report, you can bring the flowers.
Okay, after the report on time of flowers, okay. You did talk about the floor, the turf, the transitioning. I just wanted to bring forward here that I've received some concerns, complaints about the floor. I don't know if anybody else did, but I just wanted to bring it out here so that you can
So-
have that discussion at your next meeting.
Yep. Okay.
That the floor is unlevel and dead spots and blah, 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 but, there's other complaints, concerns, but, I just wanted to bring that out. Because the board is under the turf, the new board, it's different than it was in the past, that's what I'm being told. The sound system, I heard a lot of negativity around that this weekend. I know that it was upgraded over the years. I don't know if you did mention in your report. So I don't know if, I'm assuming you're just doing some research on it, or?
This weekend, actually, it was fine up until, I think, Sunday, and I'm not sure if you flick over to another system, the details of it, whether the battery dies on one mic and you gotta switch over to the old system. That happened for maybe 10 minutes, and then they switched it back to the original mic and was back up and running. I think it might be a user, well, it's not all the time, because you do have the same announcer doing a lot of the tournaments or events, and there's issues with the sound system. I know above the canteen, going along the main entrance where the canteen is, that whole area, you can't hear. So if you're speaking and talking on the microphone on the whether it be the arena, or ice surface, or the turf, you can't hear anything that's being said when you're standing in that area.
So, you mentioned that they're gonna do some research on it, I guess, and
Yeah,
see
the
how we
director
can
said he would.
upgrade that sound system. I did receive some feedback on some of the garbage, and it was great to see the youth and some of the parents.
So
to
can we
get
just,
out.
can we just hold that again? Because that's
Yeah.
not directly related to
Flowers.
our report. Yep, and then we'll go, right after the report, we'll get the report out of the way, because there was nothing discussed at that committee level in terms of that.
No, because it didn't
Yeah,
happen.
right.
But I would like to say hats off. You did mention the Junior Lab Cup, so I would like to say hats off to the organizers, the players, the parents, the coaches, the staff, anybody that was involved, because it was a big event and the kids all enjoyed it, and it was great to see.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other further discussion from CSR report? Okay, all those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Passed. Okay, so now,
I
see, we're
asked
still
about-
staying with CSR.
I
Yep.
asked about flowers, because I know that the birdhouse don't have any this year, but I was gonna say that it was very well received in previous years, and lots of positive feedback, besides the fact of beautifying our community. The flowers in the poles, the flowers in front of town hall, the flowers in front of Kinsman Park, and this year there'll be none, because there's none to get here, but I've heard of other organizations who are getting them shipped in, and I don't know if that's a discussion you can have with the CSR director. It's worth
So-
looking into.
I'm going to throw that to the CAO from an operational perspective. That will be something, has there been any discussion in terms of there not being flowers available this year? Or what we would do?
First heard about it via email I received a day or two ago.
Okay.
So it's something that'll
All
be
right.
looked into.
Yeah, so my point is, as a counselor and someone bringing it to my attention, there is a possibility to get flowers if we did some searching.
Yep.
The other thing was the garbage. I received some pictures and some concerns around the amount of garbage that was at the arena this weekend. I know there was garbage cans out. Were they changed in a timely manner? I don't know. And I know that some youth and parents actually.
Councillor Compton Hobbs, come closer to your microphone.
Some youth and parents actually pitched in to help clean up some of the garbage, which was great. And I think some of that might have caught on from the community cleanup, so that was good to see. But anyway, I just want to put that out there because I did receive some information, questions, concerns, complaints around that. So that's all I had.
Thank you. All right, so we move next into municipal services. And I will put the floor to Councillor Winters.
Thank you, Mayor. Sorry. Municipal Services Committee meeting was scheduled for May 17th, Wednesday, 2023 at 12:05. Present were Chair Councillor Todd Winters, Councillor Hayward Broomfield, Councillor Denise Rumbold, CAO Nadine McCauley, Superintendent of Public Works Randy Chambers, Superintendent Water Sewer Keith Pye, Director of Engineering Randy Dillon, and Administrative Assistant Haley Bessie. Meeting was called at 12:09. There was a review of previous minutes and action items. There were no errors or omissions. We had one delegation. The delegation was regarding Municipal Food Waste Program. Cassia from Food Cycle Science gave a presentation on a food recycler that diverts food waste from landfills. This program works with municipalities to help with food waste and could possibly reduce food waste that goes into our landfills of up to 90%. The committee likes the idea and has agreed to discuss it further. This is to be worked out and set specific details will become available. Item number 4 was the discussion and new business. There was spring cleanup. branch trimming are ongoing. Multi-year capital works schedule reallocation. It was attached and reviewed. A recommendation will follow. The third was the ISIP project approval, road intersection upgrades. Briefing note was attached and reviewed. A recommendation will follow. Item 4 was the acclimation with the Valley Vet Clinic. Briefing note was attached and reviewed. The committee agrees and approves the PET 400 acclimation to go ahead. Moving on to the manager's reports. Public Works report was attached and reviewed, and there was no major issues. Water and Sewer report was attached and reviewed with the basically there was a PSA that was put out for different approaching projects. The next report was engineering. Report was attached and reviewed. The YMCA has been doing pool renovations for the last 2 weeks at the time of the report, and from my understanding, the work has all been completed. It wasn't recorded here when the meeting concluded, and there is no next meeting date, which is due to be determined. And there are two recommendations to follow. Please accept report as provided.
Thank you, Councillor Winters. I think there's 3 recommendations now. There's
Okay.
one that was added today. Okay, moved by Councillor Winters and the Municipal Services Committee that we accept the report as presented. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Wallace. Discussion. Councillor Compton Hobbs.
I got a couple questions.
Yeah.
He didn't mention it in the report. I don't know what was talked about because he just said no issues from the report. So, but I assume speed humps was talked about in the committee.
No, it wasn't.
So there was a PSA put out that there would only be speed humps put by the playgrounds this year. So I don't know. I read it just like every other citizen, so I don't know where it come from, the discussion.
So the discussion, I think, came from last year, I think, in terms, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a huge conversation and everybody wanted speed humps last year, and I think it was decided then that it would only be placed in school zones and in around playground areas this year.
So before our time, there was discussions with this council around speed humps?
Yeah, we had a conversation last year in terms of speed humps.
Yeah, so before our time. So I just wanted to say, there was a lot of money spent on, can I talk about this now, or wasn't it?
It wasn't in the report, so if you wanted to hold it off
Want me to
again.
Hold that off? Okay. And I don't know if you didn't mention, but I assume waste yard was talked about in your committee, because I read that on Facebook just like every other citizen as well.
Yes, actually, I did skip over that through my report. Yes, there was a discussion regarding the waste, sorry, I'm looking for Randy's report. There is Public Works report, discussion about the current situation with the dump being left in an improper place. The solution is to put out a PSA to temporarily close the grounds for a spring cleanup. The goal is to eventually reopen, but to stop the misuse. Right now, it's currently closed because the remediation of the garbage that shouldn't be there, tires, washers, all the other stuff that doesn't belong there, needs time to be removed.
Okay, so, yeah, so I read it online just like everybody, just so the public is aware, there's only 3 councillors.
So we're not
who sit on the committee.
we're not speaking to the public directly.
Okay,
So and we're dealing specifically with the community.
okay,
his
so I'll
report.
talk about the waste yard. I wasn't privy to that, so I read it online, just like everybody else. So my question is 30 days to remediate the land. A lot of people use that waste yard, and a lot of people contacted me, and I can't give them an answer because I don't know, which I find a bit frustrating as a counselor. So I read it that it's closed for 30 days, but just to rewind a bit, there was a mulcher bought for that exact waste yard, and the reason the waste yard was open was so that it wouldn't go to the dump to end the life of the landfill sooner. So there's a mulcher sitting around for tens of thousands of dollars that's never been used, that should be used to mulch the sticks and the trees and what. I get that people are dumping there illegally, and the people were charged in the past for dumping there illegally. So it needs to be monitored. We need MEO and whoever to monitor that area. But it says 30 days, so I really hope that it's going to be open again, and this is not the start of shutting down the waste yard and the mulcher, the tens of thousands of dollars a piece of equipment that I don't know where it's to, should be up and running and used, and the whole idea of the mulcher was to, put all the trees and everything too, to break it down to chips so that it could be used for trails in the community. And right now, I know, the boardwalk could use the chips for their parking lot that they're building down there, the new parking lot. So I hope that's talked about in the next municipal services committee meeting, Chair, Councilor Winters.
Yeah.
In case somebody's not aware of that mulcher and what it was supposed to be used for in the beginning.
Yeah, and just to go back to your point of it being closed for 30 days and might be reopened again, what we've been told by the manager, Randy Chambers, was that it would take at least a month to get all the garbage that's not supposed to be down there, that's being dumped down there, to get rid of. And what happens with the mulcher, it was, like I say, pretty much basically, we need to get the community on board and not to put their basic garbage down there. It's for one purpose, and that's for organic waste, and that's not what's happening.
But yeah. So
Okay, Councillor Pomeroy.
Yeah, just to add, Your Worship, I use that waste yard area quite frequently because it's close by, and a lot of people in the valley do as well.
You're not putting your washers there, are you?
I'm not putting my washers or anything else there, but and I've actually gone up and cleaned up bags that were left there, and because I don't want to make it bad for anybody else. And we're seeing the result of it now. Unfortunately, I don't think that area has been cleared for 2 years, and it hasn't been cleaned since last year. I went up early in the year, and the garbage was out to the road, and there's a mixture of everything. A lot of wood, a lot of yard debris, no doubt, most of it is, but there's some residents in the community that have no regard whatsoever to our natural environment or the environment around us, and it's because of them that we're in the situation we are right now. So hopefully they can get this place cleaned up sooner rather than later. 30 days seems like a long time, but I'm not a heavy equipment operator or manage those types of things. So I trust that they will get it cleaned up as quickly as possible. And we probably should be doing more communications around this area and perhaps patrolling it a little bit more. I know at the landfill we have somebody there all the time. I'm not expecting we have anybody at the yard waste area, but we should have people frequently going there, particularly on the weekends when we know most of the people are dumping.
And I know our former MEO did that, kept a good eye on that. So hopefully our new MEO will be the same. Councillor Rumbold.
Thank you, Mayor. Just further to what Councillor Winters said when we were in that municipal services meeting, Mr. Chambers, what he relayed to us as to what has been left in that waste yard, Christmas trees with the lights still on them. So like when I heard Councillor Compton Hobbs say there's a mulcher, and I thought, shouldn't it be so easy? It should be so easy that we can just take our trees, and people thought it was okay to dispose of a Christmas tree with the lights still on it. So the 30 days, I think it sounds like a lot, especially when you've got people that use it and use it properly and frequently. And I hate the fact that these people are being punished for the misuse of other people. But I just wanted to add that timing-wise, for it having to be closed for 30 days, I think what Mr. Chambers said in the meeting was if there had to be a time that it had to be closed, because spring cleanup is coming around, now is the time that, unfortunately, although you can't visit the municipal yard waste area, you can still bundle your cut limbs and your yard waste, and it will be taken from the side of the road when the community cleanup happens. So the bulk, what is it called? The bulk roadside. I want to say it right, but yeah, so the bulk waste pickup. So the people who can't actually get into the yard waste area right now can take advantage of that as well.
Yes, and please don't dump it down the road. So anybody else? Councillor Compton
I
House?
just wanted to add, that's exactly what's gonna happen, unfortunately.
Okay, so we're gone into.
I was in someone's
Yep.
yard yesterday
Yep.
with 16 bags that was gonna go to the waste yard. It's now going to the dump. I understand it's gonna take time to clean it up, but moving forward, I hope that we can get lots of communication out and we can do something for the illegal dumping. I know there was cameras up there before, and the MEO will certainly put that on his patrol list and get it up and running again, because it is very well used in the community.
No doubt. And the other side is from a safety, from our perspective, if you throw the mulcher up there or you throw equipment up there, it's got to be safe also. So yeah, good cleanup, and then we can refocus and redo what we're going to do there. All right, any further discussion on the report? Lots of discussions tonight. No?
I want to talk about speed humps, but after the report is...
Okay, after the report, yeah. All right, so all those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Okay, we passed the report. Speed humps? Speed bumps?
So the speed hump bumps was discussed, obviously, before I was on council in January, by the sounds of it, and they're only now putting them down by playgrounds, which I disagree with. Again, there was tens of thousands of dollars spent on 2 digital pole speed limit signs that I don't know where they're to, probably in the CF arena. And there was 2 side road big speed digital signs that there was even trailers bought to tow them around. So why they're stuffed in the CAF arena is beyond me, when they could be out. Everyone here knows that Kellen Drive is a racetrack. And why couldn't we put out a speed sign on the side of the road, so people can see what their speed is when they're going or whatever? Tens of thousands of dollars spent on speed signs, digital signs, humps, whatever. And I do know there was a study done a few years back on the traffic on certain streets. I'll say Montagna's, because that's a long road, and there's a problem area down there, because people pick up speed when they get around that turn on the end, and phew, they fly 100 kilometers per hour up Montagna's road. So there was a need, and there was a study done to determine exactly that. I'll say Palliser, but only because I know that the former MEO sat out there and tracked a lot of people. He ticketed several people who were racing down Palliser, 80, 90 kilometers per hour. So there's problem areas in the community. I understand, I get that every street wants a speed hump, but that's not possible. But we do have some resources that could certainly be used, that are stuffed away up in the CAF arena or wherever they're to, that already the taxpayers spent tens of thousands of dollars on. I don't understand why we can't put it out there.
Councillor Palmer.
Yes, I share some of the same concerns over the speed pumps, or whatever you want to call them. And there are some areas in town that definitely require some traffic calming measures. And it's funny, because when the humps first came, nobody wanted them. Oh, it was nothing but an inconvenience. People said, I avoid going down that street because I don't want to go over. And now everybody wants one. And I don't know, we can't give everybody a speed hump on their street. And I do understand it's an operational thing. I get that. But I think that when we don't have an MEO at this point, and from a public safety perspective, I think that some consideration really should be given to some streets in this town that have high flows of traffic, and oftentimes excessive speeding in neighborhoods where children are outside. And I think we can't ignore that fact, and they do help slow traffic down. Might not be the ultimate answer, but they do slow traffic down. And I think and I've had people come to me since the notice went out that, oh my God, what's going to happen now? They're a little worried about their kids on the street. So let's just leave it at that.
Yeah. Deputy Mayor Wallace.
Was there a reason given why they were only going to put it out in front of the schools? I mean, what happens in summer when there's no schools? Not every road or street in town is the same. Is
I think it was
designed the
more
same?
geared to the playgrounds. That was a discussion that happened last year. The other side is that the way they've been placed in previous years didn't seem to make any sense. There was 2 on one street and 1 on one street, and then none in an area there should have been. So I think last year that was what the thing is. I mean, the other side is that we only had so many, as Councillor Palmer said. everybody wanted. There's a lot of people who didn't want them, actually. There was some that were stolen.
But why only
and
at the
stuff.
schools?
Well, I think that's just, it went to, that was just the playgrounds.
So Mayor, can the discussion be brought back to the Municipal Services Committee for further discussion?
Any discussion can happen.
Actually, where this is a speeding issue, I think this
Protective
wouldn't it
services.
go back to protective services?
Well,
Yeah, I
it
As
agree.
used to
municipal
be on
services,
protective services
as
in the
municipal
past.
services are
Yeah.
the only ones that put them out and what they're told.
Yeah.
They're not told.
So
Whether they
in
go
terms
there
of
or not,
that,
they just
like I
know what
say,
to do.
yeah,
That makes
in
sense.
terms of that, yeah, I mean, but I don't think we, as council, should decide where they go. I think that needs to be a conversation in terms of, from a staffing perspective, from an MEO perspective, that kind of deal.
Oh, agree,
And-
but I
and
don't
put
agree
them
with the ones that are functional and paid for being not. put
Oh,
out.
no, well, like I say, that was, I think what
We
happened,
don't
and I
need
don't
an
know how
MEO
many
to
extra.
tell us that we
Okay.
can put a digital sign, or one of the signs, speed signs on the Kellen Drive. We can put that out on, it's already on a
Yeah.
trailer, all they gotta do is tow it out there.
That
turn
speed
it on.
sign, there wasn't a whole lot of, I live and drive that road an awful lot. That speed sign was, in my opinion, absolutely useless in controlling speed on that road.
Well, I think it deterred
If
some.
it had a photo radar, yeah, that would be different.
It
Actually
showed your
recorded-
speed.
It
so-
actually recorded the
Photo
number of
radar.
vehicles passing up and down the street,
Yeah.
and that data was used for
Passing up and down the street?
coming,
All the traffic up and down.
and counted the number of vehicles that were actually.
So do we have that data
Could've been
from
you 50
previous
miles
years?
away, Mayor, but-
Oh, yeah, I do.
but
But
we-
so do we have that from previous years? Do we have that data from previous years?
What are you gonna use that, data's only good.
No, 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 just from a speed perspective.
Yeah.
Nobody's, I've never seen it. That's why I'm asking the question.
I haven't seen the data.
So those machines were able to
The
record
former
that?
MEO would have had the data.
And we
Okay,
used
it's
that
interesting.
to help,
Yep.
lobby
Yeah.
for.
Okay, so we can have that discussion for the next, so we agreed that we'll put it to
Protective
Public
Services.
Protective Services? Okay, all right. And hopefully by that time, the new MEO will be in, a new MEO will be in place, hopefully. All right, we'll go into finance.
Recommendations.
Sorry? Oh, recommendations. Yes, I'm sorry, sir. The floor is yours still.
All right, thanks, Mayor. First recommendation, 2020 to 2023 multi-year capital works program. Be it resolved that we, the ultimate recipient, Town of Hatton Valley Goose Bay, accept cost-shared funding as outlined in the Department of Transportation Infrastructure Project Approval Letter dated first day of May 2023. Project name Multi-Year Capital Works Program with a total revised project value of $2,322,233. This council agrees to provide the ultimate recipient share value of $699,593 in funding for this project and authorizes the mayor and CAO to enter into a funding agreement and sign revised Schedule A with the Department of Transportation Infrastructure on behalf of the town of Hatton Valley Goose Bay.
All right, it's moved by Municipal Services Committee and Councillor Winters that we enter into, as the ultimate recipient, which I think is the language from the actual contribution agreement, that we enter into the project approval letter noted items for the amount of $699,000, no, that's our share, for $2,322,233. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Wallace. Discussion. Okay, all those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Passed. Next one, sir.
Second recommendation is Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program. Be it resolved that we, the ultimate recipient, Town of Hatton Valley Goose Bay, accept cost-shared funding as outlined in the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure Project Approval Letter dated 8th of May, 2023. Project number 17 RNC 24-00000. Project name road intersection upgrades on Hamilton River Road with a total project value of $550,000. This council agrees to provide the ultimate recipient share value of $166,236 in funding for this project and authorizes the mayor and CEO to enter a funding agreement with the Department of Transportation Infrastructure on behalf of the town of Hatton Valley Goose Bay.
We'll take the 1,000 one. All right, so it's been moved by Councilor Winters and Municipal Services that we accept and enter into a project number agreement with the province for project number 17 RNC 24 and 00000 for the amount of $550,000. seconded by Councillor Rumbold. Discussion? Councillor
Yeah,
Williams?
I'd just like to point out that, I know Councillor Compton Hobbs requested what intersections they were. I'd like to
That's what I was going to go
pass it
to.
forward to Engineer Randy Dillon explain, because this is pretty exciting what he's going to
Yeah.
say.
Mr. Dillon?
Yes, thank you, Mayor, thank you, Councillor. Yeah, these three, this road intersection upgrades, basically three intersections in the town. One is the Loring Drive, Hamilton River Road intersection. There'll be new traffic signal lights in that intersection. There'll be more, it'll be upgrading. There'll be pedestrian activated walk lights, and it'll be some median construction and so on. So it'll be an up to the current standard safety. It will be a current safety standard at that intersection that'll be implemented, in that particular area. The other intersection is the intersection of Kellen Drive at Hamilton River Road. So as people are aware, I think there's a lot of times there's trouble making a left-hand turn, especially going down Hamilton River Road or going down Kellen and so on, coming off Kellen and going down Hamilton River Road. So there'll be another set of traffic lights installed at that intersection, and they'll be coordinated with the lights on Loring Drive also. On Grenfell Street, the intersection with Hamilton River Road, that coming down Grenfell Street, there will be a no left turn, and there will be medians put there. The stop sign will be taken off of Grenfell, and there will be a merge lane going west on Hamilton River Road. So that should help with traffic coming off of Grenfell, and also would make it safer for people making, not being able to make a left-hand turn going down Hamilton River Road. So the option, the alternative then, or the preferred route then for people going down in that area would be to go down Strathcona. So all in all, those three intersections would definitely make, especially one of the main thoroughfares in the town, would make the town a much safer a place to drive, especially in those particular areas.
And great safety enhancements up top, because I think, and we've expressed to the province, that, since we came on, that was one of our big things up on Loring Drive, that it was only an accident waiting to happen. So hopefully this will start the planning process and construction process to get those intersections upgraded. And province recognized it. We were looking for the province to fully fund the Loring Drive issue, but I think we got 70-30, I think, which was good for us. So, Councillor Compton Hobbs.
I just wanted to say that I think a lot of people are going to be happy with the pedestrian walk up Loring Drive. It's been in the works for a long time, and I'm happy to see it come forward. And hopefully the work will start this summer. But there's going to be a lot of the pedestrian walk is a big, huge boost for the community and that area's safety. Like the mayor said, it was just an accident waiting to happen. So I'm happy to see that, and I'm sure the majority of the community will be happy to see that in place too.
No, certainly agree, Councillor. Excuse me. And actually, the RFP has been submitted to Transportation and Infrastructure for approval. So I'm hoping to get that finalized this week and get it advertised.
Good. Excellent news. And with that, of course, will come some change in traffic, and staff will put out that information to the traveling public, especially on that intersection on Grenfell Street. So
Just
look forward to some changes.
And maybe,
Yes, sir.
through the chair, to town engineer, has there been any consideration to Churchill and Kellen Drive? I know that's at times can be very daunting to get out onto Kellen Drive or out onto Hamilton River Road. Sorry, from Churchill Street out here. Yeah. You can be there for quite some time trying to get out. Much the same as up on Kellen and Hamilton River Road. Has there been any consideration looked into that? I know it was a traffic study. How much weight was that?
Yeah, there was a traffic study, and it was indicated in the traffic study that traffic lights weren't warranted at this particular time. So the existing method of traffic control, just with the stop sign, was deemed to be adequate based on the traffic counts and so on. But it's not to say that down the road, probably in 2, 3, 4 years, depending upon the traffic flows on Hamilton River Road, that may not need a further upgrade, as will possibly 10th and Hamilton at some point when traffic increases, that we may need further traffic signalization on those particular intersections.
Okay. All right, we're voting, right? Good vote on that one? No, that was after. So we voted on that one, right? We didn't? Okay, so all those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contramanded? All right, now we voted on it. Last one, sir?
Thank you, Mayor. Bridge dedication, Birch Island Conservation Area. The Municipal Services Committee recommends council support and approve the request from Healthy Waters Labrador to dedicate a small bridge at the entrance of Birch Island Conservation Area in memory of Tony Hickey. Just a note on that, we did receive the letter quite recently, I think it was Friday. Mr. Hickey played an important role in regards to fixing that area up and the bridge, so just wanted to put that out there before anyone votes.
Okay, excellent. So it's moved by Municipal Services Committee and Councillor Winters that we approve and support the Healthy Waters Labrador project to rename in the memory of Tony Hickey the small bridge at the entrance to their conservation area. Seconded by
I'll second.
Councillor Compton Hobbs. Discussion. Councillor Compton
I
Hobbs.
just want to say that I fully support this motion. I am aware that Tony Hickey was the project manager of a lot of work there on that bridge in that area. So I think is good, great that the family brought this forward, and I fully support it.
Good. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contramanded? And that motion is passed. All right, sir, thank you. And we will move now into Councillor Rumbold and Finance, Admin, and Policy.
Thank you, Mayor. Finance, Admin, and Policy Committee met on Tuesday, May the 16th, and our meeting was called to order at 4:35 p.m. Present were myself in chair, Councillor Todd Winters, Councillor Ella Wallace, CAO Nadine McCauley, DFO Mike Dalmont, SAT Kelsey Campagna, HR Kellyanne Jack, CDM Greg Osmond, Administrative Assistant Haley Bessie, and the mayor was also present as ex officio, but only until 5 p.m., at which time he had to leave. We reviewed the previous minutes and no errors or omissions were noted. We reviewed our action items, and the DFO and SAT updated us on some outstanding accounts and the actions that have been taken towards collecting payment due. Under new business, we had some donation requests received with recommendation to follow. We had much discussion on our not-for-profit and charitable organization taxes policy. Valuable input was provided to us from the staff and all committee members as well. And it's an ongoing policy, remains in development. So there is much work to be done, but it hasn't fallen off of our radar. For other new business, we had, I can't even read my own chicken scratches. We visited our previous tax inquiry from a business owner, and our staff was able to resolve that inquiry internally. We had some information provided to us from our financial account manager on some investment options, and our staff was discussing and working towards how to maximize return on our cash on deposit. Our tax and receivable summary was reviewed, and I'm pleased to say that the town has been able to recover 73% of outstanding and current taxes for year end as of December 31st, 2022. We received a letter from the provincial government regarding collaboration and sharing service, which was reviewed for information purposes. The manager's reports were presented. Our community development officer provided a communications report and updated us on the numbers regarding social media following and email recipients. Supervisor of Assessment and Taxation reviewed the donations report to date, the low income tax relief report, and the aged receivable report. Worth noting that the low income tax relief applications still continue to come in, and as I do every meeting, I continue to encourage residents to apply for the low income tax relief.
with anybody that meets those criteria for that relief program. Our DFO provided his report, and there were no significant items that needed to be discussed. It was reviewed and very informative. Our next meeting was scheduled for Tuesday, June the 20th, and we adjourned at 6:20 p.m.
Thank you. All right, so it's been moved by Councillor Rumbold and the finance, that we accept the Finance Amendment Policy Committee report as presented. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Wallace. Discussion. I'd just like to note, are you on that committee?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm not in the minutes.
She wasn't in the minute.
No, you were in my report, but.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can we have the minutes reflect, in the committee report, to reflect that
I was present.
Deputy Mayor was there? All right, any other discussion? Councillor Broomfield?
Nothing on this report here, but the chair of the finance committee is also our representative on the GBAC. I'd like to ask some questions about GBAC.
So can we'll deal with GBAC right after we deal with that, if you'd be so kind. Any other comments or discussion on the report? Okay, so none being heard. All those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Motion passed. All right, so do we want to do recommendation? Can you just hold your, let's finish with the committee, and then we'll go to her. All right, so recommendations.
Okay, recommendations, I have 3. First one is a donation request was received from the Mealy Mountain Safe Prom Committee, and the FAP Committee recommends that council approve a monetary donation of $500 to the Mealy Mountain Safe Prom Committee for their event to be held on June the 17th, 2023.
Okay, moved by Councillor Rumbold and Finance and Min Policy Committee that we donate $500 to the Mealy Mountain Safe Prom Committee for this year's Safe Grad. And seconded by Councillor Pomeroy. Discussion. All those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Okay, next one, please.
The next item is a Justice and Public Safety Grant. Be it resolved that we, the ultimate recipient town of Happy Valley Goose Bay, accept a grant from the Department of Justice and Public Safety per their communication dated 9th of May, 2023, in the amount of $500,000 to be used for public safety initiatives as per Schedule A of the agreement. This council authorizes the mayor to sign this agreement with the Department of Justice and Public Safety on behalf of the town of Happy Valley Goose Bay.
Okay, it's moved by Councillor Rumbold and the FAP Committee that the town council, being the ultimate recipient, accept a grant and enter into that agreement with the province for the amount of $500,000 to be used for public safety initiatives. Seconded by
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Wallace. Discussion.
I just want to say I'm happy to see this, happy to see this $500,000 come in, and certainly will go a long way to help with the security and safety of the community.
Thank you. Councillor Pomeroy.
Yeah, I just wanted to, it says as per Schedule A of the agreement. Is there a copy of Schedule A of the agreement that council can review?
Yep. So there's 2 items, correct? 2 items. We asked to have the first item put in so that it would be towards public safety initiatives. And the second is just a standard, I guess, that we have to be accountable to the province in April 2024, I think it is, of what the monies were spent at. So
So we'd have to report.
Annual
provide a
report.
report back.
we just had to report back to them.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
I just want to note this money was announced, I guess, in the provincial budget, and we've consistently been back and forth looking for updates in terms of what was going on. And apparently there was reports of in discussion that there, was a security company or that had gone to the province. It was a costly venture. The $500,000 was earmarked to our community, and about 10 days ago, I guess, I had a conversation with, after sending some emails, I had a conversation that was called by the Assistant Deputy Minister, and this offer was put on the table to the community. And we've reacted pretty quick, and we'll all sign the agreement this evening, and it'll be sent out. There was something in the agreement that I did question in terms of, there was some mention that the cost would be paid out after a particular date. And so a question was asked, and the answer came back that as soon as I sign it, and as soon as the Deputy Minister of Public Safety and just JPS signs it, that the money will be transferred to us. So I think that that's positive for us because we have that funds that we can look at some public safety initiatives within our community and to help with our current situation. So it's good news. Any other further discussion? Okay, all those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Passed. Next item, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Further to my last recommendation, security services. The Finance, Admin, and Policy Committee recommends that council award a contract for security patrol services to Garda World at a monthly rate of $13,852.80.
Okay, it's moved by Councilor Rumbold, and the Finance, Admin, and Policy Committee recommends that we award a contract for security patrol services to Garda World, and the amount was noted. Seconder, Deputy Mayor Wallace. Discussion? Councillor Palmer.
Yeah, can we have a little detail how long that contract will run? Sure, residents were probably wondering, is that every month, or is it for 3 months, 4 months?
Thank you, Councillor Pomeroy. So a request for quotes was issued on May the 12th to 4 different security companies. What we were looking for was a monthly patrol at that point so that we could come up with a longer term plan. And so the monthly rate, let me just see. So this is to provide security services, mobile patrol, observe and report, weekly reports to be submitted to our municipal enforcement officer or director of protective services as it may be. It's a monthly contract with an expected time of June the 1st to October 31st, 2023, with the possibility of extension on a month-to-month contract. So this is fluid, I guess, is the word. It's something that can be adapted, and the whole reason for the month-to-month was so that we could, determine each month based on those reports if things need to be changed.
And just to step back real quickly, that $500,000 has been given to us. It can be spent over multiple years as well. So it just doesn't have to be spent by March 31st, fiscal year kind of deal. So from that perspective, we have that opportunity to spend that money, and this is where that will come from. So it'll be no cost to the community. I think basically this service reinstates, similar to what we've seen in the last couple of years, the security patrols that we've had. And so what we've done, we put a request for quotes. I think there was 4 companies requested, 3 came back with quotes, and now we're awarding it. And I think it's to start June 1st, I think was in the RFQ, I think said June 1st. So fingers crossed, knock on wood, we can get that up and running as quickly as we can. Any other discussions? Councillor Hobbs?
Yeah, I'm sure the community residents and businesses are gonna be happy to see Garda World out patrolling the areas. I'm a little bit concerned that it's only one person. Like, I know they're not gonna we'll get the hot spots, I guess we'll say, where there's higher traffic of illegal activity going on, but maybe we can look at down the road if we feel that we need 2 officers out there, then it would work better for the community with the $500,000 or other security measures we can look at. But anyway, yeah, I think the community will be pleased to see Garda World going around and patrolling some of these areas that are problem areas.
Yeah, I think the situation we're in now, we can control what we want, sort of within that fiscal $500,000 piece. So that gives us the ability then, as opposed to wondering what someone else is going to do. So yeah, hopefully they'll accept, and hopefully they'll be starting June 1st. Further discussion on that issue, on that motion? Okay, all those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Motion's passed. So when or who will reach out to say, yes, this is a go to the company? Okay, all right, thank you. All right, now we're going to move into protective services, and the floor is to Councillor Pomeroy. Oh, sorry.
Councillor Brumfield had questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, the GBAC. Okay.
Oh, right.
So yes, so as we'll just insert it here, I guess, before we forget it. Councillor Rumble sits as our representative on the GBAC board, and I think she's the treasurer of the GBAC board. So, yeah, there was a question in terms of, from Councillor Brumfield.
Well, we've been here now, basically going on over 2 years now on council. We have not yet received anything from GBAC. We should really be getting audited financial statements. I remember before pre-COVID, when you used to go to the airport and you'd look around waiting for your luggage, the little decals would say 190,000 flights last year. Well, my concern is that we're paying an airport improvement fee, we're paying a landing fee. If you're going to park your vehicle, you're paying parking fee up there. But yet we've never received any audit. We have no idea where their money's being spent. So it would be nice if they could show us with an audit and where they're spending their money.
Just for clarity, Councillor Brumfield, when you're saying we are paying, you mean residents?
Yeah,
Okay.
residents.
I just wanted to clear that up, like it's not the town that's paying any, it
No.
is the residents. So yeah, definitely, they had an AGA, open to the public. I'm very disappointed to, report that there were 2 citizens that showed up to the AGA. It was announced, it was well advertised. Unfortunately, I don't think GBAC is the only organization that's in that same situation, because I've heard of different groups and organizations throughout town that have held their annual general assemblies or annual general meetings advertised, and they don't get the turnouts. So they did present their audited financial statements, and I will definitely go back to, because it was a document that was presented at that time. So I'll go back to the committee, to the Goose Bay Airport Corporation, and just speak to them and say, you know, can I present on behalf of GBAC to council, so that the next time that we get a meeting where we can, you know, review that and if there's any concerns. But I can tell you that, you know, my short time, I've only just begun with that board, and they've just recently appointed a new chair. They have a new CEO coming on board. They're making some positive changes, and I really think the community is going to be pleased to see those positive changes. But yeah, if I can get a copy of the public book that was presented at their annual general assembly, I will bring that back to you.
And I think as council sits around the table, we should have a copy of that. Has there been an announcement in terms of CEO? Yeah, okay. I was wondering if you, yeah,
Can't
okay.
scoop anything.
I know, I heard it. All right. Any other discussion in terms of GBAC? But yeah, so can we ask for that and then put that through, put that back through finance and admin, I guess?
Yes.
That'd be the best place for that. That good, Councillor Rumfield?
Yeah.
All right, sir. Okay, now turn the floor over to Councillor Pomeroy and Public Services.
Thank you,
Protective
Mayor.
Services.
Productive Services Committee met on May 15th. President were myself as chair, Deputy Mayor Ella Wallace, Councillor Compton Hobbs, Chief Administrative Officer Nadine McCauley, Director of Public Services, Chief Brad Butler, and Administrative Assistant Haley Bessie, who took the minutes. Meeting was called to order at 12:07 p.m. We reviewed previous minutes and action items. There were no errors or omissions. We discussed a number of new items, including Project 529, which is a registration initiative, help to support bicycle registration and recovery. Basically, it acts as a community garage where we keep information on on people's bicycles, and is put into a database, and it's could be tracked through GPS, and in the event of a theft, it can be easily recovered if it's able to. So we had hoped to have had a member of the RCMP at our meeting to discuss Project 529, but unfortunately was not unavailable to attend the last meeting, and hopefully we'll have a further update come our next meeting. I just want to add there as well, with respect to the bike rodeo is scheduled to take place on June 17th at the arena parking lot. We also received correspondence from Labrador-Grenfell Health regarding public sharps disposal containers, and discussed the possibility of placing them in various areas around town. Committee agreed to explore further and to follow with Labrador-Grenfell Health for more information and clarification on this particular project. We also discussed the possibility of establishing neighborhood watch programs in our community. as part of our ongoing efforts to deal with concerns over public safety. Neighborhood watch programs help keep communities and neighborhoods safe by helping to lower the risk of crime. Programs also help residents to develop a sense of self-empowerment, cultivate neighborhood accountability, develop a positive relationship with the RCMP, learn preventative and safety techniques, and create organized action plans. So as a committee, we will work closely with the RCMP in hopes of getting this program up and running sooner rather than later. The RCMP report for April was reviewed. I should note that the Happy Valley Goose Bay detachment responded to a total of 548 occurrences, which were classified as calls for service during the month. This is slightly down from last year for the same period, which saw 559, so a difference of 11. A total of 187 persons were incarcerated for a variety of offenses during the month of April. In his manager's report, Chief Butler noted that up to the time of our committee meeting, the department responded to 5 emergency calls for assistance during that month. Fire apparatus is fully operational except for auto eject parts, which at the time of the meeting were waiting to be installed on Rescue Vehicle 1. No new bunker gear has been ordered and set to arrive in September, and an attic ladder has arrived for pumper number 2. Department received notice from International Grenfell Association that a $10,000 grant has been approved for equipment updates, or upgrades, sorry. Meanwhile, we're still waiting to hear back from the Provincial Fire Emergency Services Division about a grant for additional equipment purchases. Since the last report, the Fire Protection Officer has completed 2 new inspections, 6 follow-up inspections, 2 home-based business inspections, and 2 home oxygen inspections. He also set up a fire prevention table at last month's Guns and Hoses hockey game and participated in the National Fire Association 1035 Fire and Life Safety Educator course. He's also working on documentation for fire smoke exposures in relation to cancer coverage for firefighters by the province and Workplace NL. The animal control report as well as the complaints list for April were attached to the committee package for review. The next committee meeting is scheduled for Monday, June 12th, and with that I move that the Protective Services Committee report be accepted as presented.
All right, so it's moved by Councillor Pomeroy that we accept the Protective Services report as presented. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Wallace. Discussion. Okay, all those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded? Okay, we've accepted that report. I have a quick question. Before we go to approval of checks,
Same question
there's several councillors attending some conferences over the next little bit, and if I, including myself and 4 councillors, that puts me into a not quorum situation.
It's not a conflict.
So this is what I want to clarify. So what the checks for myself, the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Compton-Hobbs and Councillor Pomeroy is to pay for per diems to attend the FCM and to the SAM conference. All right, so everyone, we're in agreement that we're good with that? Perfect. All right, so then I'll move to approval of checks. And I answered your question.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. Okay, I would like to bring forward the approval of checks for the month of May from, actually, it's from April
Bless you.
27th, 2023 to May the 23rd, 2023, with a grand total of $894,486.49.
All right, so moved by Councillor Rumbold and Finance and Admin Committee that we accept the checks, approve checks, the amount of $894,486.49. Seconded by?
No, I have
Oh,
a query, I'm
sorry.
afraid. I just noticed I'm Lake Melville Soccer Club, of which I'm a
Sure, okay.
board member.
So, did you want to declare conflict?
I will do
All right.
complex, sorry, and deduct
Okay.
$500 from your total.
All right. Well, no, you can stay for the approval of this one, and then we'll just remove that one, and then you'll, yeah. It's the same thing we did.
Okay.
Sorry. CL, yep.
The check for the soccer club is actually the volunteer award winner
Oh,
donated part of what they received, the $1,000 that they received as part of their appreciation award, to the soccer club. So there wasn't a request by the soccer club.
Okay.
So I just don't feel that there's
I
a
remember that.
conflict in that regard.
How does council feel?
I don't think there's a conflict.
So good?
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
sold. So, back to where we were. Original motion and original, no, you weren't seconded. So I need a seconder for the approval of the checks. Councillor Winters. Any discussion? Councillor Broomfield.
I got a question.
Yes,
just
sir.
on one check. I understand how the whole process works, been town clerk for a year, like a few years.
Yep.
One check I do have a question on, because there's a new one here. Pollitt Strategies Inc., why are we paying those? They're head.
CAO?
Which check number?
Second page, 26198.
So, this company provides consultation services to the town in regards of research, strategy, and communications, where we have gaps.
Where we have what?
Where we have gaps in some ability to do some research at a higher level and engagement with higher level and strategy.
So do we have a contract with him then, or?
Yes, we do, a
How
month-to-month
much?
What
contract.
kind of consultant work is he doing?
Just second now, please.
Oh, sorry.
But how much is the contract then?
$3,450 a month.
So the
It's a
month,
month-to-month contract, yes.
for how long?
It's not determined,
It's
so
needed.
it can
Councillor,
be cancelled at any time.
Councillor Compton House.
What kind of consultant work is he doing?
So in this particular one, some of the work he's doing is related to, and I don't want to get too heavy in it because it'll put conflict, but into engagement into our process from a consultation process, if in the event we have to go to the public for consultation on over the integrated housing hub facility, in which we haven't received anything yet, but
So he's working directly with the council,
with her as a professional services contract,
and he's doing what? Consultant work on,
developing that sort of process if in the event we have to go to discretionary use.
Just to
Councillor-
ask,
Councillor.
so that wouldn't have to go to tender if it falls under the
Underneath,
Procurement
yeah.
Act, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So
It's similar to
anything under-
lawyers and that kinds of stuff, professional services.
Yeah.
All right, any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary-minded. Okay, so we've approved the checks for this month. I thought it was going to be a cheap month because there was only one page. All right, we're going to councillors' forum. I'm going to start. Councillor Winters.
Thank you, Mayor. Kind of got a theme here. Starts off with congratulations and thank you to the Happy Valley Goose Bay Cleanup Committee on an amazing job they done. Can't thank you enough. I think everybody agrees here at the table that they done an amazing job, and you see the comments on social media of what they done. But this goes into what the actual problem is. It seems to be an issue, and it was brought up earlier with regards to the Junior Lab Cup, and also earlier with the organic landfill. People just think that they can dump food, drop garbage anywhere they want. I've been to several arenas over my life, and this is by far the worst, probably the only one that I've ever seen garbage just thrown on the ground, on the floor. And it's up to our staff to be cleaning up all the time. Yes, I understand that garbage bags may not be filled, or may be filled and not emptied, but it's still, at least you can put the garbage in one area instead of on the floor at your feet. And this goes back to exactly down to the same thing as down to the landfill that we currently have. People are dumping garbage outside of the dump, and down to the organic waste dump. I mean, they're just dumping garbage everywhere. I mean, people in this community complain about the transient issue and the garbage that they leave, but have we as a community looked at ourselves and what we do and the garbage that we throw out? I just want to make everyone aware of that, and that's just my concern as my time to speak as a.
Yeah, excellent. And not to to go much down that road, but if you see someone dumping outside, 896-3322, and report it to our enforcement. Let's go, Councillor Rumble. Looks like she's looking at me.
Is Councillor Winters done?
Yes.
Oh.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to acknowledge the 2 delegates as well. I think we encourage people to come in and share their opinions that we want to hear from our residents, and this is definitely the forum to do so. So I appreciate them for coming in and speaking to us this evening. Further to what Councillor Winter said, the Happy Valley Goose Bay cleanup, the fact that what started off as a 3-day initiative, Rebecca shared with us today that they want to continue. So how positive is that? So the fact that they're willing to continue, that the volunteers and organizers are willing to continue, I would definitely encourage all residents to do your share as well. And she says we know they've got a Facebook page, so they've got initiatives planned, and the street sweepers and trailblazers. I just think it's so wonderful that they're engaging the youth in the community, make kids proud, and then hopefully they'll call their parents out. So, you see an adult throw something down, you call them out, because the children have every right to do so. And getting them involved, they mentioned getting the Girl Guides involved in painting some garbage cans. It gives you that sense of pride and that sense of doing something good. So I encourage and support, and hats off to them. Still with the delegations, I would like to again thank Mr. Saunders for coming in. And it sounds like what he is doing is he is arming himself with information. So when he says, I have reached out to the MHA, to the MP, to the action team, to the Premier, to the Justice Minister, I applaud you, Mr. Saunders, for doing so. I can reassure you that we, council, have done the exact same things and followed the exact same avenues, but we encourage residents to arm yourself with information. Ask questions. Ask the tough questions, because when Mr. Saunders mentioned things like council being in St. John's, and we visited the Gathering Place, visited the Center for Hope, visited the Oaks, every time we do these things, we are arming ourselves with information so that when and if anything comes before this council, where we can say we do or do not feel something is suitable for our community, it's because we've educated ourselves, because nobody else is educating us. Nobody is sharing. Nobody's forthcoming. Nobody's giving us information. We're having to work so hard for every tidbit we get, but we're arming ourselves with information to do the best for the residents and the taxpayers of Happy Valley Goose Bay, and I think we can all say that we will stand by that, and we will support our people, and they deserve safe, healthy, and happy community, and we live here too, and we support everything that you're asking for. So I applaud that. Strategic planning that happened, and again, Mr. Saunders referenced this, and he was one of the participants who came out to those focus groups. Like to really thank everybody who took the time to participate in our focus groups. I'd like to thank everybody who took the time to complete our survey. Something that was shared with us by the consultant with the strategic planning was that if you can get 400 people to complete a survey, you've done well. I think we reached that in the first few days. So people of Happy Valley Goose Bay wanted to have their voices heard. Don't let it stop. Share your concerns, share your viewpoints, and although we all know that there was a negative tone that may have started things, the fact that we were looking at a strategic plan for our go forward, our 5-year plan for the community of Happy Valley Goose Bay, what we learned was everybody needed to offload these are my concerns, this is what I don't like about my community, and then that opened the gate for, but this is what I love, and this is what's good. And so once people were able to let out their frustrations, they were then also able to share the good, and it opened that doorway. So I thank every resident who took part in the strategic planning process, and again, I encourage everybody, when there is a public consultation, when you have the opportunity to make your voice heard, how many people live in countries that don't have those rights and freedoms? We take it for granted, but just please know that when you're sharing these thoughts, they're greatly appreciated. And the only other thing was just some housekeeping, small things I just wanted to say. We're getting into spring and summer. The weather is getting nicer. I had a near miss on my way here with a young adult on a power scooter, motorized scooter, without a helmet. I will say it, I think, in every single meeting. Please, 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 please make your kids put their helmets on, have those tough conversations. We want, when we say public safety shows lots of different faces, and we want people to be safe. And yeah, I would like to just thank the people of Happy Valley Goose Bay for their input. It's greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Councillor Rumbold. Councillor Rumpfield, let's continue up that side.
Okay, thank you, Your Worship. Again, I'd like to reiterate what Councillor Winters and Councillor Denise
Rumbold?
forgetting the name of it.
Rumbold?
Denise Rumbold.
Councillor Denise.
I'd like to thank the businesses who did the spring cleanup there a couple of weeks ago. It was their own initiative, and they've done a wonderful job. We're going to start doing the official town cleanup on Monday, May the 29th is when we start. Of course, like other councils sitting around here and people in this community, I was one of those who was a regular user of the Court Real wastewater or waste place or decompost, whatever you want to call it. I'm certainly going to miss that one. I'm hoping it's only closed for 30 days, but I suspect it will be longer than that because look at the garbage that's down there. The other item is school's out, summer's here. I think you're going to have to slow down when you drive because all the young kids are going to be on the go. And I tell you what, if we get our bus on the go, the other ones are going to be used in the summer months, I suspect, to be honest with you. The other item is looking at our website there, and Thursday we got this interactive community forum coming up dealing with the homelessness. And it's going to be hosted by Dr. Cheryl Forchuk. Unfortunately, you got it on the webpage, but you don't say where it is. Is it going to be here at the town office
Hotel
or at the
North, too.
Legion?
Hotel North, too.
Where?
Hotel North 2.
Hotel North, okay. What time then?
Check my
Is that cheered? Yeah. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't have it with me.
Anyway, that's all what I really
Okay.
had to say on that one. And just thanking the staff for all their hard work over the winter, too.
Starting
Good.
at 8:30, Councillor Plum.
What?
Starting at
8:30,
8:30.
Hotel North 2.
In the morning?
Yeah, in the morning, I would say. Yeah, I would hope. Councillor Palmer, are you finished, Councillor?
Yes.
Okay, Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Worship. Again, public safety, I'm sure it's on everybody's mind. See Mr. Sanders come here this evening and the day that he said goodbye to his brother shows a lot. And very emotional for him today, and but he's so passionate about this issue that he felt obligated to come here and express his concerns to council, and I applaud him for that. And also, again, echo what others have said about the amazing job by the Happy Valley Goose Bay Cleanup 2023 Committee, I guess that's what they're calling themselves. Great stuff, very community-minded, and it's good to know that there is some community spirit still in this town, regardless of all the challenges that we have. In terms of Neighbourhood Watch, looking forward to having further discussions on that. I think, you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained. We have to look at every option we can to try and improve public safety in our community. You know, the funding that we've entered into an agreement with the province to receive $500,000 in no way, in my mind, lets the province off the hook. The province is still responsible for public safety. To me, that's like giving us a cup of water and telling us to put out a forest fire up behind the bay somewhere. And it might make a little difference, but it's not going to change the problem. And so I think we need to stay on top of that. I just want to hats off to Blair McLean and Jamie Abbas for their efforts in establishing a functioning RV park at Gosling Park. They have recently received approval from Crown Lands and are now trying to work through the next stage of the process. And if all goes well, their goal is to see some sections of the park serviced with water and power, along with a sewage dumping station by the end of this season. And they're also working on security issues that they're hoping to address as well. I'd like to wish them all the success. I think it will help boost the tourism industry here in our community and fill a void that's been missing for quite some time. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Palmer. Councillor Compton Hobbs, the floor is yours.
I just want to start off by sending condolences to all the families that have lost a loved one this month. And I didn't see Kathy, but condolences to Kathy and her family, who certainly had a difficult month for sure. I want to send a bouquet to the Roads and Grounds Department with the town, because they've done some amazing work. The painting and the shoulders of the roads, and there's a lot of work that's done that they're way ahead of schedule on. So it's great to see that. And I noticed that which I never saw before down in the Lower Valley, Work Services and Transportation, provincial government were down sweeping the sidewalks in the Lower Valley, which always the town done, which I was surprised to see, because the town do have 6 or 5 walk-behind sweepers, and I've seen the town use them over and over in past years. But hopefully they'll stay on top of them bike trails, because we don't have much trails as it is. So if we can keep the sand off them for the bikers and the walkers on the side of the road, that would be great. But yeah, they're doing some great work and way ahead of schedule. So it's good to see. Again, the community cleanup, hats off to, and I believe there's 4 people who spearheaded this community cleanup. Businesses: Sasha Woodward, Jennifer Ring Michelin, Darren Buckle, and Rachel Pike. Rebecca. They've spent a lot of hours organizing, collecting donations, and all the business came on board to offer prizes, and it was great to see, and nothing but positive feedback from the community. It's almost like it lifted a black cloud off our community, and it beautified it, and it people's energy, and it's just an amazing thing to see. And hopefully going forward, they'll be able to build on this community cleanup like they talked about earlier, having the trail rides and so on. And maybe they'll do another community cleanup, the fall. And I think, even to see the young children out there that were involved, it was amazing. So hats off to that group for sure. I also participated in the mock council meeting here during Municipal Awareness Week with the grades 4, 5, and 6, which I was blown away with, because they were so engaged. It was unreal. The issues that they knew about, they talked about the community cleanup, they talked about daycares and different things like that, and I couldn't believe how engaged they were, and they were so interested. And they had a mayor and a deputy mayor, and they were addressing each other like Councillor Colburn, Councillor Elliott. It was unreal. And I received some feedback from some of the parents after that day, and they said their children couldn't stop talking about the mock council meeting. So it was great to see, and I was happy to be able to participate and sit with them in that, along with the mayor. And some future councils there for sure, I think, from what I witnessed anyway. Again, Mr. Saunders, he's been bringing his concerns forward for a long time. You could see tonight the emotion, the passion. I mean, he's just frustrated like a lot of people, just wants the community to be safe. And hopefully we can work on some more security measures and moving forward. That and I think the community, I think Mr. Saunders will be happy that there's going to be security in place again after tonight's meetings, emotions. So yeah, hopefully we can, moving forward, we could put other measures in place too, and just move ahead in a safer community. And I guess the last thing is I'm looking forward to attending the SAM conference, Stewardship Association meetings. I've been going there for quite a while, and I enjoy the conferences, so I'm looking forward to attending there.
Perfect. Thank you, Councillor Compton Hobbs. Deputy Mayor,
Thank you very much.
the floor is yours.
Thank you. To our Kathy, condolences to your family. You certainly were tested. That's all I can say for that, for sure. You've had a hard time, but it's good to see you here, and we're here to wish you and give you all the strength to help lean on. This past weekend, we had the Junior Lab Cup that was held at the E.J. Broomfield Arena, and was a resounding success with 381 young soccer players showing off their talents. It was a lot of fun. Hats off to the Junior Lab Cup Committee of all their time and volunteer hours spent not only this weekend, but exceptional work to bring this tournament to fruition. Not next week, the week after, we've got the Senior Lab Cup, which will soon be on us. 5 days of indoor soccer games held at the E.J. Broomfield Arena again. We look forward to hosting another fabulous tournament here in Happy Valley Goose Bay, and we always turn on the best host town spirit. Congrats to the Amarok Golf Course, who have officially opened the golf course on Sunday. Sending a big shout out to all those who came out to clean up the course on Saturday, and wish everyone a fabulous golf season. I'd like to acknowledge the initiative, as most have around the table tonight, the Community Cleanup Committee, in their fabulous organization of the recent cleanup. This was exactly what our town needed. Everyone, both young and old, took part in something that started as a cleanup, but it was so much more than that. It completely shifted the mindset and the psychological well-being of all residents. The business community came together to unify residents and make positive change in our community, and it provided a sense of empowerment where we felt we didn't have, and it allowed much to everyone to make a difference. However, as Councillor Winters, you mentioned earlier, we're all accountable and we're all responsible to help, and let's all do our part. The organizers are true ambassadors of our town, Happy Valley Goose Bay, and I want to take this opportunity to say a huge, sincere thank you to them all. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
All right, I got a couple things. I'll just go quickly. We're working through the next audit process. I know staff is working to get, and that's the 2020, right? Right. So hopefully we'll be there. One of the most amazing things I've ever participated in was the mayor/councilor for a day. So basically, the kids wrote a little speech. There was some selected. It started out as going to be mayor for a day, but there was such an enthusiastic response from the kids. There was like 25 or 26. We suggested, well, let's do councillor as well. So we filled the council table, chairs. You might see some things changed around, but we had 8 councillors and the mayor. So the mayor was elected, chosen basically, and then the council got together and elected the deputy mayor. And then the debate was through, they did a motion and that kinds of stuff. And one of the motion that they did was what they were going to have for lunch. And we had it predefined that we were doing Mary Brown's. But the soon discussion came about the healthy option, the Dairy Queen option, this option, the pizza option. So as Councillor Compton-Hobbs said, it was really, for me, mind-blowing to see grade 4, 5s, and 6s engaged. Total decorum. They caught on very quickly. I know Claire Brennan was the mayor. She handled things very, very good. It was great to see. So anyway, the motion did pass that we had Mary Brown's, and fortunately, he was up there in the box already. So that was good. The kids had a great time. But one of the things that two of the kids came up to us and said at the end was that they were so thankful that people take the time and effort to run their town. And, that kind of set back, what we're all sitting around the table doing from day to day. We're here now like 2.5 hours into a meeting. We're away from our families and that kind of stuff. So I want to say thank you to everybody. And that was expressed from the kids, but thank you to everybody that sits around the table, and including staff, because it is definitely a consuming job at times. One of the things that we're noticing around town, we want to make sure that if you're going to be doing work or you're going to be doing construction, you need a permit. So one of the things that I think I'd like to see us focus the new MEOs that we hire, whoever he or she is, that we start looking at things like that. So if you're going to do any construction or you're going to do construction for someone else, come into the town, see our staff, and make sure it's permitted. One of the other things that we're talking about up on Main was numbering of housing. I've noticed some businesses around now have taken the initiative and gotten really big numbers for their businesses, but I also see a lot of houses and businesses that don't have numbering. It's the first responders that are going to take time to try to find your place. So please, number your residents or number your business. If you're not sure what the number is, then by all means call in. I had a conversation about the playground on McLean with some committee members and as well the CAO. I hope that that gets resolved quickly and we start that playground. It was passed through council, excuse me, late last fall, and I think it needs to be, the construction needs to happen. The equipment is there, and as you know, summer's coming, so I think that that's important. The Junior Lab Cup, yep, I won't address that anymore. The community cleanup, again, I've mentioned it several times in a public setting. What it did was, as a deputy mayor, it kind of took our community and switched it right around, and sort of like, you know, the ownership and the empowerment now that the community has. Right now it's trails. Hopefully it's neighborhood watch. Security is going to help. So I think we're on a road to helping out. But we're not letting the province off in terms of, you know, the requirement for public safety, because it is that realm where it rests. I want to say thank you to our new student, Haley, who's came in and was kind of trial by fire, went right into work. And I was glad to see Kathy here tonight, and like I say, pass condolences on for her losses and her family's losses over the last little while. We have a birthday with Mark Urquhart, so I want to say staff member, congratulations to him. I do also want to thank the officials at Justice and Public Safety who came to the realization that this money rests better with us, and we can kind of help that one, so that one's good. And outside of that, I am looking forward to attending the Federation of Canadian Municipalities along with Councillor Pomeroy and the Deputy Mayor and the CAO. It's an excellent opportunity to see what other communities are doing, network with other communities, because there's nothing that hasn't been, the challenges that there's no other community, but that haven't been resolved. So it's a great opportunity to see what other folks are doing. And the trade show there is usually very big, and we're talking about things like garbage cans and LED Christmas lights and things like that. So hopefully we'll get good attendance there. One of the good things is, though, is we're also going to tour the bus, look at the bus that we're getting, not the actual bus, but that same similar bus with the company. So hopefully we'll be able to take a few minutes and scoot to the range facility and have a look. And outside of that, I have nothing else. Thank you all. Anything from staff before we close the meeting? Nothing? Nothing, sir?
No, I'll go with me, Mayor, thanks.
All right. Anything else from council before I proceed to close the meeting?
Just
Councillor Compton Hobbs.
One comment, Mayor. There was a glitch in the system earlier, and Mr. Saunders, I got a message on this since, but Mr. Saunders was recorded, and I'm just wondering if it's going to be uploaded at some point after.
Yeah, well, the meeting will be, meeting has to close, right? I already posted. Oh, that part? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. And yeah, and again, I'd be remiss, Mr. Saunders is, you know, very active community member, and he's not shy, which is great, because that's the kind of information and the kind of sentiment we need. And again, like you had mentioned, Councillor Palmer, on the day that you know, his brother was laid to rest, he took it of concern to come to council and share what he shared with us. I think it's fantastic, and really appreciate it. So, all right, with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Compton Hobbs, seconded by Councillor Rumbold. All those in favor? Aye. Meeting's adjourned.